This is John Dowler of Prayer Builders in Winona, Minnesota, and we've been going through First Thessalonians. We've been cruising through here verse by verse, and I want you to just Paul. We had looked at this. Let's just go ahead and start back at verse 8 of First Thessalonians chapter 1. It says, "For from you, from Thessalonica, from the Thessalonican church, the word of the Lord has sounded forth." I mean, God can use you to speak his word. The word of the Lord can resound in you. It's not just resounding in somebody that's got an ordination credential. It can resound through all of us. Look at this. "Not only in Macedonia and Achaia, but in every place, your faith towards God has gone out so that we do not need to say anything. For they themselves declare concerning us what manner of entry we had to you, and how you turned to God from idols to serve the living and true God." I mean, when Paul was coming into places, the people were already hearing about the Thessalonians and what had happened when Paul went there. That actually was breaking the ice for Paul in future places. He'd come into a place and they'd be saying, "Oh, you're this Paul guy? Oh, we heard about you. We heard you was over in Thessalonica, and now all these people, they've been turning from their idols. Their lives have been changed around." I mean, this is what was happening. And then it says, "For they to themselves declare concerning us what manner of entry we had to you, and how you turned from idols to serve the living God." And then in verse 10 it says, this is what I wanted to get to, "And to wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised up from the dead, even Jesus, who delivers us from the wrath to come." Now, this is the first verse in Thessalonians that refers and has a direct connection to the rapture of the church. If you're sitting here thinking, why do you say this at the end of every one of your teachings? Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Because Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. I'm telling you, Jesus is coming. And right now, what was this? This was part of their declaration. This is part of what they said. And this is what they were expecting. It says in verse 10, I mean, this was part of the attributes. Now, when you look at 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, these two books will straighten out your theology of end-time events and eschatology. And determining the Lord's return and when's he going to come. Jesus is coming back from the church before the tribulation. That's all described in the book of Revelation and Daniel. Jesus is coming back before that. This is the first verse in these two books of 1st and 2nd Thessalonians where he says that. And he says it right here. Paul said part of their example, part of the example of the Thessalonians was that they were waiting for his Son from heaven, who he raised from the dead, even Jesus, who delivers us from the wrath to come. They just described the rapture right there. And that word, waiting, that word means they had expectancy. These Thessalonians knew Jesus was coming back. And they literally had expectancy. They were expecting it. They were expecting it to the point of looking for it. Looking with expectancy. Every day that comes up. Is it looking to escape? No. But I don't have an escapist mentality, because I know I'm already delivered from the wrath to come. So I'm not trying to escape anything. I know I am delivered from the wrath to come, which is the tribulation. And that's what that says here. And to wait for Jesus, his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, even Jesus. What were they looking? They were expecting him to come from heaven to do what? To deliver them from the wrath to come, which is the tribulation. This was the first place where Paul just kind of laid that out there, and this church believed that. And this church's faith resounded and shook their region. They were persuaded of God, and they were persuaded that they were delivered from the wrath to come. So I hope this was a blessing to you today. We will be back here tomorrow, and I just want to remind you that no matter what is taking place, do not let any anxiety touch your life about anything that you see happen in this earth, because Jesus is coming back.